Everything is ready, the car is fully charged. And we are ready to go to Thorpe Park today for the Golden Day. Finally, I will try Hyperia, and I will also do a special episode of sheet teaming on Hyperia. Why did I show you the charging car? Well, because of course, Merlin promised for summer 23 charging facilities in all the parks, and so far they just implemented it in Legoland and Alton Towers. And Alton Towers was a complete fiasco because they got 4 chargers and they put an idle charge. So you should remove the car as soon as it's fully charged, which is complete nonsense in a theme park. Anyway, let's go. By the way, subscribe. So I'm here in Thorpe Park. Today is Golden Day, 23rd of June, 236. You get it? And the park is going to open at 10 a.m. I was here at 8 a.m. and I'm amongst the first 20 probably guests. Fingers crossed, and should anything go wrong, I'm ready to help. It's 10:05. I'm already in the single rider queue, probably the 6th there, but the good news is that they're adding the second train, completely unexpected. Good news.
We wanted to get that one. Oh dear. They're probably doing fun checks.
And now I really would like to say good things about Merlin and Hyperia, but they added the second train and it's currently stuck up there as usual, and they just announced that Hyperia might be closed for the rest of the day. And now the question is, what's the point of adding the second train if you haven't tested, and why are you adding it on a Sunday? God knows. Now 11:10 and they unlocked the train on the lift and it's now coming back to the station. Fingers crossed. 11:30 and it's testing again. And it's now 11:45, they are still testing it. They're basically doing the test that they were meant to do yesterday, but doing it today with us in the queue. Never mind. They gave us fast track to the whole queue, but unfortunately it doesn't work on Ghost Train. That's a pity. It's now midday, they're letting people in and they're also handing out bottles of water.
Orange time, orange time, orange time.
12:15, I'm finally at the gate in row 2. Done once, I'm not gonna say anything, but I'm gonna do it again. So I tried it on the last row. Yes, that's much better. It's much more intense. Now, managing expectations is not even in my top 10 of coasters worldwide, so it's not like, oh my god. But being an hyper coaster, it's not bad. And so, considering everything has been developed with a low budget, they didn't have the money for the third train, they didn't have the money for the onboard soundtrack, they didn't even have money for a decent layout, let's be honest. I would say, considering that, the result that Mac managed to deliver is remarkable, because it's a good coaster, despite being developed in such a cheap manner. So let's talk about the layout. Is it too short, and what about this famous chain lift? Now, considering they had limited budget and it's a cheap execution, I would say the layout is not even too short. If we compare it to I don't know, a U-shaped coaster like Stealth or Oblivion at Alton Towers. Of course, it's not a complete full package like Taron or Voltron, far away from it. But considering it's an hyper coaster, I think the length is kind of okay, and given the budget. I'm not a big fan of a chain lift though. I would have preferred a launch, maybe like Space Mountain in Paris, where you get to the top and you actually get to speed 0. That would have been nicer, probably more reliable, and also a bit more modern and you know, kind of nicer. But it is what it is. Probably they didn't have the money to get launches either. I'm now in the main queue line to check out the teaming, but basically there is nothing. Literally like just a cage. I don't know why they bothered to try to put together a storyline, a kind of, you know, this ancient goddess. There is no point, because they clearly had no money to develop proper teaming, so they just wasted resources with no result. Also worth mentioning that the show is pathetic. And it's 4 p.m. and the thing is broken again. So Hyperia is broken again, but it's kind of funny that there is a kind of, everyone is cheering out loud every time a train make it to the end of a chain lift or it doesn't valet, which is what a coaster normally does. But here now it's turning into laughing stock. As usual, you cannot fault Merlin on merchandising. They know exactly what they're doing, and prices are not that bad. And so, after riding it a few times, let's talk about Hyperia. So what is Hyperia? It's an hypercoaster made by Mack, which is gonna change completely your perception of hypercoaster. Forget about Silver Star, forget about Shambhala, forget about Hyperion. There is nothing to do with that. This one is a kind of taller blue fire, and for me it's positive because it's much less repetitive. It's not as boring as those ones. I actually loved it. It's quite intense. It's got a really nice punch, and also I found it just different compared to the other hypercoaster. Is this the best coaster in Europe? No. I still prefer Voltron, Zadra, Taron, to mention a few. But if you like airtime and hang time, oh my god, this is yours. And also, if you put it in context of hypercoasters, then yes, this is the best hypercoaster I ever tried as of today. And for me, definitely approved. Really, really good coaster. And it changes a lot according to the row. If you can try it last row, oh my god, that's intense. And so, what other issues with Hyperia? Well, you saw it today. I would say it's not reliable. You never know if it's gonna open or not. I've got the feeling that Mack tried to do something that they've never done before, and probably they were not even so ready to do it. Combine that with Merlin rushing every single step of the process, and rushing it to open it, and then rushing it every time they were supposed to reopen it, and there you go. You got the perfect storm. And that's what it is basically. Every morning, you never know if it's gonna open, if it's gonna get stuck, and how long it's gonna stay open until you got a massive downtime that might not even reopen or during the day. Say that Mack did a really good job in terms of creating the coaster, apart from the reliability. On the other hand, Merlin did a really awful job in terms of teaming. They didn't have money for the teaming. They decided not to team, then they changed their mind, but now they say they stylized it, whatever. It doesn't make any sense. The story, nobody knows about it. The whole thing looks just so cheap. And again, usual materials, containers, metal sheet, and all that. I've got a special episode of my series, and the link is in the description down below. But if I were them, I would have just skipped the whole teaming as a whole and just spend that money in landscaping, because currently the whole site looks like a building site, and the lake it's filthy. It's really, really bad. So say that it's a really nice coaster. Teaming is a massive no, and fingers crossed that this thing is gonna be more reliable long term. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please subscribe.